Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Uncle Pookie's Barbecue. I'm Uncle Pookie, and I appreciate y'all tuning in. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. That way you'll get an update anytime I put out a new video. I'm going to kind of show you how I do a competition setup on my drum smokers. As you can see, I've got one here that just finished up to replace one of my competition smokers that someone else wanted more than I did. So we're gonna get this one tuned up, and I just wanted to kind of show y'all my competition setup, what I'm using, and I'm also going to cook, actually see how long my burn time is on 8 pounds of Jealous Devil charcoal. Jealous Devil is my charcoal sponsor. Then once I started using their product, just fell in love with it. It is a premium lump charcoal, and it has a great burn time, very little ash, and none of the fireworks that some of the other brands have when you light it up with the sparking and everything. So I wanted to thank them for that. And then also, someone is not a sponsor, but I have been using their product for a long time, is the Pitmaster IQ. On contests, I do use a temperature controller just to reassure myself of my temperature while I'm cooking, and it also helps me really ice down my timelines. I know my pit's going to be at a certain temperature the whole cook, and I can adjust my timelines accordingly. So, and the basic Pitmaster IQ, the 110, is this one. That actual box and that particular controller I've had for about 5 or 6 years, and the only problems I ever have with it is the pit probes will eventually play out between getting pinched in the lid or rolled up a little too tight. Sometimes they will short out, but the fan and the controller and the fan are one unit, which I love. I don't have to worry about having power to a controller and then power to a fan separate or anything. And like I said, 5 or 6 years, and this fan has not given me a lick of problems. So I'm going to show you exactly how I set everything up for a long cook at a contest. And I'm also going to kind of time out and see how long the Jealous Devil will hold out for me, how long this pit will sit at 250 degrees. Think you're going to be surprised on that. I've got some stories that I've told about a couple of contests where I've cooked all of my contest meats on 5 pounds of lump charcoal. So the drums are super efficient, and I just want to kind of show you my setup and everything. I'm going to put the camera down for a minute and go ahead and get the charcoal loaded. Today I'm using just a couple of sticks of hickory wood intermixed in there, so I'm going to have some smoke. I may throw a little meat on here in the middle of the day, but really I'm not looking to see what it'll cook or how it'll cook, but how long it'll cook at just a set temp. So I'll go ahead and get things set up and come right back. Stay tuned. Okay, everybody, I did forget to mention one thing that I also use that I appreciate greatly. It is the Lightning Nugget brand fire starter. They are, I'll just take a look here and see. They are about the size of half of a golf ball, a little bit bigger, and they are nothing but wax and sawdust. They're a great fire starter. They last for about 15 or 20 minutes, and I know a lot of folks that use the drums will start their fire from on top, or get a chimney, like a half a chimney started, and pour those hot coals over the top. And with the lump, you don't have as much of an ash problem. But before, when I first started using a drum, I was using some unmentionable briquettes, and the ash buildup was so bad that it would basically choke out the bottom of a fire basket for me. So I just started the other way around. I started from the bottom, and I put it in a corner, That way it burns up and across. And I've found that has been the best way for me to start my fires. You can see these lightning nuggets, they burn hot. They have a big flame that helps to catch the charcoal really fast. So that is the way I start my fire. 8 pounds of charcoal, lump charcoal, and this Jealous Devil, if I can get in good here, this is some really nice stuff. It's bigger chunks. It's not super huge pieces, but they're bigger pieces, so they do tend to burn hotter and longer. And the good thing is, with the way I set up with this Pitmaster fan, it's going to control that burn, so I don't have to worry about it burning too hot and too fast. It's going to control it, and I don't have it plugged in yet, but you have your damper set here. What I normally do is set it to about halfway open, either a 2 or a 3, depending on the wind situation. But I'll set that open to a 2, and once I'm plugged in, I set this dial right at 250 degrees. And what this fan will do is it has a 10-degree window up or down. So it may let the temp get up as high as 260, and it may let the heat get down as low as 240. If it gets to 240, the fan's going to kick on. And this is a variable speed fan. That's another big perk to this particular unit. It doesn't just be, the fan speed is not just on or off, high or off. It's a variable speed. I may be incorrect, but I believe the numbers are 5 CSM up to 15 CSM. So that's, speed of 5 is the low, speed of 15 gets up to the fastest. So if it's really getting low and it's not climbing back up, it'll kick up to that full speed. But normally I'll hear it, if I'm real close, sometimes I'll lay a hand on it just to feel the vibration. I can feel that fan on low when it starts to get closer to that 240 mark. And then if it is getting low on coal or something, it'll push, or maybe sometimes there's voids when you pour charcoal in the basket. It may have hit a void. It may need some more air to get that next piece of lump caught or something, so it'll ramp that speed up. I found that's great because it's not blowing extra ash around, which again, the lump doesn't put out a lot of ash anyway, but for the folks that are using briquettes that do have a little more ash in their fire, that fan speed is not always on high, blowing your ash all over your meat. So it's been a real good consistent unit. It also senses if there's a rush of air, so when I take the lid off to do something to the meat or take the meat off, the fan will kick off completely. It won't continue pushing air onto a fire that has all this excess air available. And then after a few minutes of the lid closed, it'll sense that the temperature is stabilized, and if the fan needs to come back on, it will. If it doesn't, then it'll stay off until it gets down to that lower window. So it's been a real good setup for me. You've got a long hose, and normally this hose has a connection on the end of it where you can connect it to their supplied adapter that you can put on the bottom of a Weber kettle, or I used to have pipe nipples coming out of the back of the unit of the drum, and that hose would fit just nice and snug on that pipe nipple. Now I'm just using it like you see, straight down the air intake, resting it on the damper so it sits straight up like that. And in a minute I'll show you when we're turned on, when I've got power to it, how everything is plugged in. And what I do too, I don't know if you can see that real well here, I don't use a dial thermometer. I use that hole as a pass-through for my temp probe. And then once the grill grate is in, I'll use this little alligator clip and clip it right at where my meat is. That way I'm not just temping what the temperature is right here at the wall or on the edge of the cooker. I'm going to have my temperature probe right at where the meat is, so I know what temperature my meat is cooking at. So let's check this out again. I don't know if you can see that real well, but we've got a little bit of hot coal going right now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the camera down again, and I'm going to put this fire basket in the drum and I'm going to leave the lid off for about 10 more minutes so that this charcoal will go ahead and get good and caught where it's burning real well. And then we're going to hook the fan up and put power to it and get this thing sitting at 250 and start the timer. Stay tuned. Alright guys, we can see now it is 9 minutes after 11 a.m. and I am about to plug in the fan, close the lid, and let's get her done. When I'm under contest, I do use that little heat diverter. What it's doing is basically keeping excessive meat grease, like from pork butts, from dripping directly into the fire the whole time. It's just a way for me to keep from the flare-ups and whatnot. So you can see I've got my pit probe right in the center of the grate as if I had meat all around it. I'm going to go ahead and close this lid. I leave my damper about halfway open to start. Later on I'll close it down to about a quarter of the way open. We're going to go ahead, plug in this unit, kind of show you how it goes about its startup. What it'll do is it'll go through, it'll do its cycle, startup cycle, and it's going to run the fan at full speed and then half speed, and then it's going to assess the temp, see where it's at, if it needs to be running or if it's already hotter than it needs to be. If it's blinking green, that means the fan is running, that the temperature needs to come up. If it goes to a solid green, that means it's in its window. It's either 10 degrees above or below. As you can see right now, it's a little below temp. And what I can do, sneak around a little sneaky way to figure out what temp we're at. I turn the dial down real slow. I don't like making sudden movements, but I'll turn that dial down real slow and see where we're at. Okay, so we're not even up to 175 yet, so this fan's going to run full speed for a little while to get us up to temp. I've gone ahead and opened the damper all the way up. What that's going to do is it'll let full airflow come through. It's not going to restrict how much air it puts on it. Once it's up to temp, I can go ahead and close it down to like a level 2 so that it's not pulling air when the fan's not running. I don't want this temperature to continue to climb when the fan shuts off, so we'll close that damper down a little bit as well. Like I said, I've closed everything up at 9 minutes after 11, and we're going to see how long this puppy will run. So I'm going to check back in. I'm not going to do a fast forward or anything like that. I'm just going to come back in periodically, show you where we're at with temp wise, and then once we see the temps falling, which will be later on this evening, we'll take that heat diverter out and see how much coal we've got left in there. So stay tuned. Alright guys, we're back, and it is 5:45 p.m. We checked earlier, it was 11 o'clock, and we are still on green at 250 degrees in the bright sunshine here. But the only thing that I had happen about 2 o'clock, I had left that damper open all the way on number 4, and I had the exhaust damper about halfway open still, and the light was flashing red, which means, it was solid red, which means it's higher than what it's supposed to be. Of course, it was pulling all the air it wanted with that damper all the way open and the exhaust damper halfway open. So I closed them down to where you see now, just barely open a sliver, not even really a quarter of it wide open, and the intake damper is down to 2, and it is sitting steady at 250. So I'll check back in later. We'll check everything out and see how we're going, maybe about 8 or 9 o'clock. Okay guys, it is a little bit after 8 o'clock. You can see the green light flashing green and red. That is the fan noticing that the lid is off. There's a lot of air coming in. I just wanted to show you real quick. We have been doing this for over 9 hours, and there's still more than half of this charcoal left. So I went ahead and took the heat diverter out. I'm going to put this lid back on real quick and get the fire tamed back down, and we're going to let it roll. If it goes on all night long, I want to show how efficient these smokers can be. So stay tuned. That's right, people. It is 10:34. I just took the lid off the smoker, so again the light is blinking green and red. And it's very hard to see, but there is still a good bit of coal burning. Now, if you remember, we started this just after 11 p.m. or 11 a.m. this morning, and we are still going nearly 12 hours later. So let's do a little quick math. It has been, I'm gonna round up and say 12 hours because we got more than 30 minutes left on that charcoal, and we had 8 pounds in the bag of Jealous Devil charcoal. So we are getting better than an hour a pound at 250 degrees with this fan going. So to me, that's pretty dang efficient. And again, we still have more charcoal to burn. I mean, it's hard to see in there exactly, but I would say at least another couple of hours, if not more, sitting still at 250. So this is my competition setup. I have anywhere from 2 to 4 drums at a contest, and this is the way I cook on it. So yeah, very efficient, very easy to use. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Facebook or Instagram, or comment on the video here on YouTube. I'm on Twitter as well. That's Uncle Pookie's Barbecue. And if you have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them. May not have all the answers, but I'll be glad to let you know what I know. And again, thank you for watching, and look forward to seeing you or talking with you soon. Thank you muchly. Welcome back, everybody. This is the evening after our little timed charcoal burn, and just wanted to show you what was left. I knew we had a good bit of charcoal left. That amount right there would probably have gone another 2 hours. I'm guesstimating a little over a pound of charcoal left there. At the rate we were going, we had another 2 hours to go. So I was talking about 12 hours on 8 pounds of charcoal. I'm going to push it up to 14 hours if we had actually burned all 8 pounds of charcoal there. And this is not very scientific at all, but that little bit of ash right there is how much came off of what we cooked, or what we used up the other night. So very, very good efficiency. Very, very little ash from the Jealous Devil charcoal. Great burn time, and it's a very clean burn, so you're not getting charcoal smoke like you do with some briquettes and some lump. You're getting whatever wood flavored smoke you're wanting to put in it. So if you're thinking about a drum smoker, give me a call, or hit me up on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or my website, which is www.unclepookiebarbecue.com. And if you're thinking about changing charcoals, check out the Jealous Devil brand at their website, and they also offer a discount if you put Uncle Pookie Barbecue in the discount code. And great sponsors, they're great folks, and obviously a great product. So appreciate y'all watching, and we'll check in with you later. Thank you.